Alright. People of the world. Hold on one second. What did I do? Alright. How's we doing? How's we doing? Okay, so we are here. And we are here once again. Once again. Oh, hey Manuel, what's up? How are we doing today? Today is the day. Okay, so it's Friday. Uneventful for for quite some time, I feel, The story of GME for sure. But hold on, you guys. I know. People, let me see. Goodness. Okay. Okay, let me switch it to live. And then let's talk about this craziness amount of shares being traded on GME, and apparently they are shorting to the tune of 61 million shares in one day. Short volume. Okay, so again, I don't know if that's gonna hit the the short interest next quarter. Perhaps that's what you're gonna see. More reporting coming in, institutional level accumulations keep going up higher and higher. Hi Edward, did I know you? Sounds familiar. Your name sounds familiar. Welcome. What's up? What's going on? Anyway, so let's talk about the price action real quick, because I feel like there is muted. It's been muted for quite some time. Expectation, obviously, I feel like it's going to bounce off of this trend line. But who knows, you guys? Like I'm not a technical analysis person, as you know. If you've been here for a while, you know me. Okay. I'm sure you've been a subscriber for a while. So welcome. How are you doing today? But anyway, so I can't imagine it's gonna come down even lower than this, you guys. Like the lowest maybe is $18 a share. And can I assume that? Can I make that assumption? I have no idea. But I mean, again, the price action, this is just short-term price action, you guys. Like don't even think about, feeling like you have to predict either way and having to, stress yourself out to the point where, you have to like either trade or, do options and all that stuff. For me, I'm just doing this for fun, you guys. Like, option and all of that. It's not meant to, make me a billionaire tomorrow. It's not. And so I'm aware of that. Yes, there are times when I do play those, option because it's low IV, And anytime there's low IV, I typically want to buy some, just in case, right? I just so happened to bet on the upside this time, and yes, right now it's down, but the option is still have some time left. So I'm not antsy about that. But again, if I lose everything in that option that I have, I'm not crippled or anything like that. I'm pretty conservative with what I do with option. I'm not the type to be like, oh, let's just YOLO, and whatever happens, happens. Understand too, I also do have a trading account in which I do that as well. So just a heads up, just in case people don't realize that. Like, what I found? Like, I found that sometimes you just have to reserve your right to change your mind, right? Just because you thought something is about to happen one day of this stock doesn't mean that it's going to happen in perpetuity, okay? And so markets has dynamic that you have to play. And yes, while the upside is unbelievable in this company, you might have to wait a little bit longer than you imagine, right? I've been here for a while. As you guys know, I've been covering this for a while. And every time I thought it's going to go up, right? It never does. But again, and people will blame it on whatever, whether you're blaming it on a market maker, you blame it on Ryan Cohen, you blame it on whatever your heart or your mind goes to. Understand that that's just the market dynamic at the moment. I know the structure in which this company has been traded has been unfair. I get that because, again, the selling pressure is coming from everywhere, okay? The company just issued a convertible notes. Another convertible note. So understand that dynamic. Why did it happen that way? It's like, I thought that's a good thing, right? So think about this, you guys. If you have a good news coming, but the price coming down, wouldn't that be an opportunity? It's like, I don't understand why people are just running up and down like and then also too with people who get so angry about people who trying to predict this price movement, right? And try to capture that whatever growth that they want to do on their portfolio, whether it's selling calls, selling puts or whatever. I never feel like it's going to kill anything because in my opinion, this train is already leaving the station. Okay. Yes. It's slow enough for people to be, jumping on board if they wanted to, but eventually you're not going to be able to catch the train. So while it's slow enough for you to catch the ride, why not take that opportunity, right? And yes, you could stay on the sideline and watch, and wait for another train to come in. It's okay. I'm sure, at some point, but you might have to pay a steep ticket, for that ride. Just an analogy here, because I feel like sometimes the negativity of this company has been kind of shrouded. And it's like a dark cloud over people. And even people who have been here for a while, right? It's just seeming, it's like doom and gloom. And also too, for people who, on the upside, right? Anytime the stock goes up, people are so emotionally attached to it, as if like it's going to go even further and further. So again, leadership has been pretty clear, right? That they are about slow growth, right? Again, capturing that volatility based on people who trading in and out of this stock. And then on top of that, whether the institutions are buying in droves because of the settlement period, right? And that's going to play in this dynamic too, okay, or in this particular stock. So right now you have the bond traders, you have the arbitrage, you have every single person who's trying to, again, make a buck out of this stock. And so even, again, even, leadership. I mean, why do you think they are offering convertible notes? In order to, get money now and then pay that money back later. This is the opportunity for them to stack their cash as much as they can in order to do what? Moving to the future. If you don't want to even understand that, I don't know. Or even like thinking about like, okay, yes, why are they doing that? Are they doing that to kill retail? No. I mean, think about this. Okay, let's think through this real quick, because I did this yesterday. I don't know how many people watched this, but I wanted to kind of back in these days, right? You had 50% equity. Okay. Now, back in those days, you don't have many asset backing, the company. They didn't even buy Bitcoin back then. Okay. But you have 50% equity of the company. Everybody was like, nah, this company is not worth anything. It's going to go to $4 and all that stuff, right? Now, it could have dropped to $4, right? But if it was at $4, you would have had 100% equity then. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that you would have been able to buy, the company at face value. Okay, meaning the asset that you bought was the amount that you paid for in shares. Now, because there's so many interests, in the company, what the potential, the short squeeze, the whatever narrative that is placed on this company, at the time, even though it's been coming down like crazy, you still have some equity there. Okay, meaning that you're paying at this level around 50% equity here. When it was here, because they were raising quite a bit of money during this time frame, you were able to still buy this company at 50% equity. Now, let's assuming that you didn't sell anything back here. So now the previous shareholder who's been holding this for a long time has more value at this point, because they didn't just, buy the share at this point in time, right? Now, this older, the diluted, quote unquote, the diluted shareholder who bought at this level or at this time will increase their equity to 100%. That's it. Does that make sense? At this junction. Okay, why? Because when they were, quote unquote, diluted your share, the previous shareholder get more out of this dilution. So that's the dynamic that people don't really think about, because when they hear about dilution, right, they thought it's just watering down. No, the pies get bigger. It's almost like, okay, before this, okay, let me do this. Okay, so over here, the book value. That's why, again, book value is very important, right? Because it's going to determine how big the pie is. Okay, so when you buy it here, assuming that you are holding, let's say, one share at $10, right? That $10 that you bought is now worth, you get more of the company over here after the dilution. Okay, so now, even now, like at this moment in time, if you hold that share, one share, you never add anything, that means that one share is now turning into a lot more percentage of the company. I hope that makes sense. So now instead of getting, you know, just 50% at the time, now this one share represents, you know, more than 50%. Sorry, right? So, and not only that, you know, your equity is increasing by 100%. How are you, legend? What do you mean? Somebody is a legend here? Welcome. But anyway, so I hope I explained that very well, because when people thinking about dilution, that's what they feel like, you know, oh, the original shareholder are diluted to, you know, the tilt or whatever. No, I mean, your equity increase, the value of your share increase, right? Um, so why is that so? Well, because leadership don't use cash for anything at the moment. I know that's the frustration part, where people wanting to know everything about how, you know, how are they going to use that money, and why are they raising so much money? Why do they need so much money, right? And so again, people who wants that spike will be so frustrated, right? Of course, like I want that spike too, but it's okay. I know the game plan at the moment. Oh, okay. Wow, I appreciate that. I'm not a legend by any means, so but I appreciate the compliment. But anyway, so with that though, my thought here is that yes, it may take a little bit more time for it to play out. Okay, so meanwhile, of course, you know, you have to position yourself the best way you know how, and understand that yes, this is a casino for sure. Okay, and there are participants everywhere. You need this type of the stock market needs this. Okay, in order to again make the economy. Okay, so what is a casino? A casino, you need like a dealer, you need a facility, you need the gamblers, right? All of these gamblers, whatever participation that you want to participate in this, uh, you know, ecosystem, you know, as a stock market or GME as a whole, right? I should put this as a GME instead of put it there. But you could think of GME as a facility, right, of some sort, and long-term shareholder are, you know, it keeps the facility going for people to gamble, for dealers to deal their, you know, whatever hand, right? And so, you know, the option sellers are the ones that facilitate the liquidity for these gamblers to, you know, win or lose or whatever based on whatever direction that they're betting on. And so, with that, though, that is going to drive the price up and down based on whatever, right? To me, the more volatility, the better for this company, because then, you know, leadership's going to be able to raise even more money to do whatever they need to do. Okay. We all know it's gonna fill the gap. GameStop only has one gap. Okay, yeah, of course. So that gap is going to fill at some point, and it's been kind of I wouldn't say an easy prediction, but you know, that gap could fill a year later too. So just understand that as well. But yes, most of the time it will. Anyhow, anywho. Okay, so with that, let's see. I have. What the heck is this? Not sure. I don't think this pertains to anything, you guys. Don't. This is not my log or anything. Okay. I don't really. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know what this is. Just laying around somewhere. Anyway, so this is still my thesis, right? That it's going to grow in value over time. But what I want to point out here is that the list has been checked out, and I think within this 6 months we're going to be able to achieve this 300 to 400 million dollars trying 12. Okay, now I don't know if it's going to be surprising to people. Perhaps again, if the media doesn't cover it, you're not necessarily going to see this. Okay, now a year ago, even 2 years ago, if I tell you Jimmy's going to be making $200 million plus, would you believe that? Of course not, right? And the same way, if I tell you, oh, Jimmy's gonna be able to raise $9 billion, $9 billion, you guys, like what? That number, it's just mind blowing to me, right? Again, that's just $9 billion within this past year alone, you guys, like crazy, right? But again, the reason why they're able to raise that money is because of the balance sheet supports that. Okay, the balance sheet is what has been the work to raise the money from whoever, right? Yes, if it's a freaking hedge fund who needs the share and do the bargain, look at the worst terms ever, right? If indeed those are short sellers, that they need the shares from leadership and they make those deals that way, but look at the term that they're agreeing to. So again, like it may not be the MOAS that people are looking for, but at the very least, the company could take some of that money to whatever. But again, if you have that narrative, right, where the float is being sold so many times over, then there's plenty amount of people who will be willing to hold the share at $22, $23, $18, right? Whatever gap it's going to filter, right? And so you see that there's a lot of buyers coming in at that price. Hold on one second. Let me check to see. There was a indicator I used to have. I think it's L2. Yeah, this one. Okay, one second. Oh, I hate this. So with this one here, I notice the buy signal hasn't come in yet. So what does that tell me? It might be just retail absorbing that, right? No, kidding. Okay, so see with this down here, they were scooping up like crazy. Look at this. Okay, lots of buys, and this is like the bankers fund trajectory. I don't know. Again, like is it a indicative of bankers buying around this price? And then when it dropped further, somebody bought here, but it seems like it's not even a banker's. So retail might have been the one who bought this dip right here. Who knows, right? But again, speculation. But with this indicator, every single dip has been bought, even over here. Tons and tons of either institutions or whoever. Retail, you think retail just woke up one day and just buy 100 million shares in the market? No. So institution has absorbed this already. So it's going to be in the hands of some institution, and you're going to see this institution breakdown right here. Let's see if I see anything here. Ownership, institutional ownership. This is going to increase dramatically within the next quarter. You're going to see that within a month. I don't know when is the reporting period is, but be on the lookout for this. I'm telling you, if it's reached over 50% institutional ownership, more and more people are going to stampede into this, and you're not going to be able to catch it. I'm telling you. That's why I'm positioning myself. Okay, I have been trimming back from crypto and then coming back to here. Okay, now I'm fortunate enough to be able to do that, and still hold the majority of my share. Okay, and then now I'm able to accumulate even more. Okay, because of that move. Now, I'm not advocating people to do the same thing as me. Have your own strategy. I'm sure people who watched me, right, have their own mind set up already. So, but again, if you don't know anything about options and all that stuff, learn about it before you make any choices to think that you're going to make a gazillion dollars just buying call option here. No, you have to understand the IV crush and all of that terminology in order for you to make the most informed decision. That's all. That's all I'm saying here. So, and again, just because people tell you to buy and hold doesn't mean that you're just gonna do that, right? Of course, I know which one is more like suitable for me, because I've been there. I've been through it already. I've learned through it already. That's why the majority of my holding is from accumulation day by day, okay? Month by month, week by week, okay? Lump sum at time, because I had some gains from earlier from Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin, crypto market, okay? So that's why, again, I'm able to accumulate as much as I can at the moment, because I make a decision to jump into Bitcoin, way before I get into GME, right? And so again, when people are telling you Bitcoin is a scam, right? I run towards it, because then I'm like, well, I've used the technology before. It doesn't seem like a scam to me, right? And so again, when people are telling you, oh, it will never do this, it will never do that, how about just take in the information or learn as much as you can about that particular instrument before you make that choice, right? Because somebody is telling you that. And again, just because I tell you it's safe doesn't mean that it's going to be, that it's true either. So I might come out with a wrong information for you. So when I cover something, I just want people to even look at it for themselves, right? Whatever information that I present. So, and again, I have my own portfolio. I have my own way of doing things, and I hope that people are not offended by that. But again, like, people gonna have different opinion. So as long as you're being respectful to other people to have their own opinion and then do what's best for them, there you go. Yeah, that's, what else can we do except to tell them, there are something that they might not know, right? But if they're not receptive to that information, sure. You're still my friend. Well, we still don't know each other. I don't know people listening to me. Have no idea how many people listen, by the way. So, anyway, so with this, let me get off of my soapbox. I know I'm kind of rambling on today for some reason. Forecast. So now, still, right? What the hell? What is this? I know it makes no sense to me. I understand how these institution has been, making decisions that are not quite correct. Okay, whoever covering this stock has not done a great job at all to be able to at least capture or at least tell their audience to take an honest look at this company, whether it is going to be something or not. Again, the price target makes no sense there. But hey, if you think it's going to go down to 13, go ahead. Good luck. Wait for it. Okay. understand that the company's balance sheets is improving dramatically. It's exponential at this point, I feel. People think about like discounted cash flow, right? For other company, because like again, other company has debt, has obligations, has senior notes, has whatever, right? But with GME, it's the opposite. It's the compounded whatever interest. It's a compounded cash flow. There you go. That's what I was going to say. It's a compounded cash flow. So understand that, and then you're going to be understanding why Ryan Cohen has been issuing shares like crazy. And again, people just absorb it, right? Who I said people? It's retail, it's institutions, it's the bondholder, it's the arbitrar or whatever the heck they are, to try to again cause some chaos so that they could run some negative news saying that GME has missed a boat on Bitcoin Treasury Company and all that stuff, so that they have that negative narrative, even though they've been doing an amazing job at retaining and increasing the shareholder equity to the tune of billions of dollars here, right? Now, people ups in arms about how they got that money. It's like, hello, isn't that the reason why you have publicly traded company, in order to take money from the public, in order for the company, future uses in whatever, right? And so again, Larry Chain talked about it pretty extensively, where it was like, hey, the best way for the company to be when they have capital is to act like they don't have any capital. So now they're raising money, more money, than we know what to do with, right? So how can you be mad at that company? I assure you, if it's a different company with this amount of hype, with this amount of interest in the bond market, it would have been covered and it would have been allowed to move up in price. Okay, you could say that it's rigged or whatever, but it would have been allowed to do that. Why? Because look at it. I mean, can you imagine this to be GME? Like, if this is not GME, right? People would have been like, yeah, this is a good company. They just raised how much on this much float, right? On this many shares. Again, keep in mind, you guys, when people are telling you it's dilution at this moment in time, the float is still at the same level. The convertible note is not dilutive right now at this moment in time. And so when you see this price drop here, are you running away? Like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, do you really think people are running away from this? Now, if you're running away from this, you don't know what a discount is, right? This is the best dip buying opportunity of a lifetime. Okay. Now, yes, it might take Jimmy a lifetime to get to where I think they gonna go. I know 4 years is a lot of a long time for people, right? To be honest, you guys, I do I did expect this year to be the year, this earning to be the earnings that it's gonna run. But again, what can I do? If the algorithm doesn't permit it, doesn't really matter whether they are improving the balance sheets to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars here. Again, like, can you imagine saying $200 million in net income? That's mind blowing at all. Like, and then look, what the heck? What is this? Still, right? Again, negative news. A lot of skewed way of looking at this altogether. And so anyways, so with that, these two is gonna be let me just change the color. Let's just do this. There you go. So now we can expect within this fiscal year for these two to get through. Now, the next one would be the S&P, and then of course dividend of some sort. Now, PE ratio and all that stuff. That's to be determined. Not much, but anyway. So now here's the opportunity. I feel that Brian could technically do this every quarter, right? Every earnings report. So this one was quarter 4. This is quarter 1. Quarter 2 comes quarter 2. They could offer another convertible note at this same price range and get a even more favorable term than to like just increase 2 years every time, and then and then just give them zero interest rate for giving GME this much money on leverage to use. Okay. Now, the other thought that I have too, okay, is just this first one right here, by the year 2030, okay, by the year 2030, if we don't even, okay, make anything, just everything stay the same from now on. They don't make more, they don't make less. They're just assuming that they're able to come up with $200 million a year, right, on net. $200 million a year to get to $1 billion. To get to $1 billion. Is that $1 billion? Yes, 1,000 is $1 billion. So it takes them 5 years to get to $1 billion. So technically, we could use that net income to pay off this one. And then we still have 2 more years to pay off this one, right? Whether it's in shares or in money, it depends on the share price, okay? So again, the optionality for GameStop to use this money to do whatever they need to do, but even just interest alone, you guys, they bring in $500 or $700 million a year, just parking money. Even if they don't buy more Bitcoin, you guys, you still every share contain 1,000 Satoshi. Okay, right now. I know Satoshi doesn't sound enticing at the moment, except when Bitcoin's going to be $100 million a share, $100 million a coin. In which case, this is $1,000. So again, like the acceleration of Bitcoin, right? Valuation. So might sound crazy, but it might take, maybe 20 years for Bitcoin to get to that height. Who knows? But yeah, so even then, that's $1,000 if Bitcoin's going to be 100 million at some point. Well, meanwhile, it's still a growing value. Hopefully they're going to buy some more. Okay. Increase this by 10x. And then, what happened? I know 10x is like $5 billion, you guys, like at this moment in time, but he has to do it quick. He has to do it now. Very aggressively, which I don't think he's going to do. I know, like a lot of speculation as to what they're going to do with this money. But even if they just buy $2 billion worth of Bitcoin, or just add this one right here, 1.5, it's still immensely more than any other company that they are able to do that. So yeah, $9 billion. Yeah, of course. So that again, the shareholder equity will keep increasing in value over time. Okay, over time. Right now, we have the asset to back another even share offering. Okay, so let's see. Now, can they sustain this and do this 2, 3 more times? Right? I think they can, and they just could just keep pushing the date further and further into the future. Right now, eventually, in 5 years, depends on where the shares price will be. Whoever bought this convertible note could just say, I want shares instead of money, in which case, yes, at that point in time, it will be dilutive. Okay? So this is 50 million shares, and then, they could do whatever with that 50 million shares as they wish to do. So, yeah, that's just how I think about this. Not much. Not much. I just recently saw a video about people not liking Jimmy too much because yeah. Okay, yeah, because they didn't buy enough Bitcoin. So that's gonna be the next narrative. So, and then the fact that they are issuing debt, that's gonna be the next narrative. So just be ready for that. There's no shortage of negative narratives. Okay, they will come up with something bad about this company for the longest time until they can't ignore it anymore. So I'm sure you guys heard the news about the Intel laying off 25,000 employees due to restructuring and all that stuff. So that's really bad for the job market. That's probably causing a lot of turmoil too. So understand that. And of course, the debt market is doing something unprecedented because nobody wants to buy the treasury, or the people that have it, they just sell it in order to, get some value out of their bond, or they just need cash, right? Because again, everybody just scrambling for cash right now. And then of course the attack, Israel attack, all of that too could cause a little bit of turmoil in the market. So perhaps again, Jimmy share price will be kind of tamed in that sense, as long as no decision is being made on the rate cut and rate hike and all that stuff. The bond market continue to price the rate a lot higher because they see a lot more risk on the U.S. balance sheets. Okay, so hey Jack, I've never seen you here before. Welcome. Anyway, so yeah, the looming threat of war is coming, and of course that's why gold went up, oil went up quite a bit, and now while Bitcoin is still kind of trading as a risk asset, it's still available for people to sell, and so whatever availability that they have, but institution keeps accumulating more and more, and even city state and all that stuff. So apparently, the SEC just approved Trump DJT. to buy into Bitcoin. So they just raised $2.5 billion, right, back in March or May. And now the SEC approved that. So, hey. So the evolutions of people just going for Bitcoin is coming. And of course, again, people are throwing this chart left and right. So again, the elongated cycle is kind of being kind of it's taking longer, right, for that to happen. But again, this is global liquidity, okay? It's slushing around over here. So if they have to print in order to prop up the economy, because again, layoffs and, people are not able to sustain their lifestyle, the money printer is going to have to, be turned on again. Unavoidable at this point in time. You can't stop it seems. All right, so we will let that play out. Yes, if Bitcoin goes up in price, that means GME shareholders will have value more into this company. The book value is going to be higher. Okay. All right, you guys, and of course ADA and all that stuff. That's good news for them. They're building in order to put Bitcoin into DeFi and all that stuff. That's another next arm of whatever enticing people to do. It's always again, people are thinking that it is a scam, right? ADA again, because it is a code and all that stuff, people don't really understand it. But again, Bitcoin maximalists, right? They only think Bitcoin as a pristine collateral, which I think it's going to happen. But you need, debt, you need financial instrument in order for these institution type to be enticed to monetize it, right? Because again, that's why they have future. That's why they have things for you to bet up and down so that they could take cuts. They don't care if GME go up or down. They care about making money for them. Okay. And so again, that's why the instrument of buying put, selling call, and all that stuff exists for that particular purpose. Don't get me wrong. I hope the market structure is a lot different, because I've always think that it is rigged, because you allow market maker to facilitate the option chain as well. If you want the market to be fair on the option chain side or equity side, you have to separate them, because if they know the order book of the equity side, of course they're gonna spike the chain of option just to make the quick buck and then drop it right back down. See what I mean? So the advantage for market maker in that sense is going to be detrimental to either long-term shareholder or the short-term swing trader out there. So yeah. Anyway, you guys, I think I babble long enough. I feel good about this. Again, this is the news right there. Oh. Goodness, am I on? Wait a minute. Okay, I guess I was on slideshow for the whole time. It's okay. You didn't miss anything, you guys. You didn't miss anything. As long as you listen, you should be fine. All right, guys. So I will let you go. Again, we're operationally profitable. We have good investment over here, right? Investment, the interest by investment, $200 million. How can you be so mad about $200 million in interest payment alone? Come on, you guys. Like, come on. And then on top of that, you have 400 free cash flow. Remember, for other company, we have a discounted cash flow. For GME, we have a compounded cash flow. So take that home, okay? If you don't remember anything I said from the show, remember this. Compounded cash flow. All right, let's go. I will let you go. And then, yeah, I'll be on